Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. We have some breaking news today in regards to the attempted Trump assassination from July 13th. We all, of course, want to know about accountability and who is going to be held accountable and why it was asked by many of congressional questioners, congressmen, congresswomen, questioning Kimberly Cheadle, who was the former director of the Secret Service, about who was held accountable, and also Ronald Rowe, the acting Secret Service director, was asked some of those same questions. Well, apparently, we are hearing today that at least 5 Secret Service agents are on leave after the Trump assassination attempt. I'd be interested to know how they assigned blame to these 5 individuals. And they're now put on leave. It's paid leave, so that they're not suspended. They're put on paid leave. And we all know that this woman here, the director, Kimberly Cheadle, after blistering interviews in front of Congress, she resigned the next day. And even though she was a 30-year veteran of the Secret Service, she seemed totally out of touch with reality, like had no answers. Was that what she was told to do? Was she told to have no answers? But it did not give a lot of confidence with the Secret Service for the American people, for other congressional, both sides, bipartisan group of congressmen and women who questioned former Secret Service Director Cheadle. So that was the first level of accountability, that she resigned the next day. However, now they're getting down to the rank and file, and apparently at least one boss is being forced to resign. No, not resign, excuse me, is put on leave. So that's interesting to note, that they're holding people accountable. But when I watched the hearings, and when I watched former director Kimberly Cheadle, and I watched acting director now Ronald Rowe, it seems like the whole agency needs an overhaul, that their culture needs a kick in the ass, because their culture either was so controlled by political bureaucrats that they forgot who they were, and they forgot what their mission was, and they forgot their responsibilities, and they forgot who they were protecting. That's scary, right? So we look at bureaucrats perhaps influencing the running of an organization that doesn't need the input of some of these politicians who have politics on their mind rather than the protecting of a presidential candidate, former president. And we're going to look into this today as to who was held accountable and where we are with this investigation. I mentioned earlier on, the media seemed to be very, very, let's put it this way. They were very okay with the fact that this investigation is closed. Thomas Crooks acted alone. That's the end of it. Shut the door. I think that's ridiculous. I think that Thomas Crooks did not act alone. And I think you have to dig much further into this than just to say, oh, we looked at his phones, we looked at his computer, we looked at this, we looked at that. Investigation, good investigation, takes time. So let's take the time and do a thorough investigation before we slam the door on this and say, oh, yes, he acted alone. There's nothing to see here. So, folks, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your thoughts. Hold on to your opinions. Hold on to your coffee. Hold on to your loved ones. Hold on to your service dog. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped at 10th and Ranch Michael by there.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger. So 5 agents, including one boss, I think, from the Pittsburgh office, are now being put on leave. And I think we all wanted to hear, someone being held accountable. Who it was, it always seems to be the people at the lowest echelon who take the heat for perhaps the boss's mistakes. I want to play this from Fox Live and see where we are with this investigation.
From Fox, we are continuing to follow this breaking news as multiple Secret Service agents have been put on leave here in relation to former President Donald Trump's assassination attempt. At least 5 members of the Secret Service have been placed on administrative leave there. And we are continuing to learn more information here as this is developing just into our newsroom. And for that, we do want to bring in Bobby McDonald. He's a former Secret Service agent, and he's with the University of New Haven. Thank you for joining us here on Live Now from Fox.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
All right. This is breaking news. As we were just saying here, these agents put on leave. Can you just break down for our viewers what we know right now? What are the new details in this?
Well, let me first say I think that it's long overdue. This is something that probably should have been done immediately after the incident. These agents were involved in the advanced preparation, and the agents as well on the former president's shift involved in a catastrophic incident that, quite frankly, could have been a lot more catastrophic than it was. So anytime law enforcement is involved in an incident like this, they should immediately be put on administrative leave, taken out of the operational aspect of their positions, get some counseling if needed, get some help if needed, get some rest, be able to develop their reports in a timely fashion with pertinent information that just happened recently and can be remembered quickly and recalled in their minds before stories change or different aspects are able to develop in the story and not be able to be put down on paper right away. So I think it's terrific that they've been put on administrative leave. If they are exonerated of any wrongdoing, terrific, no harm, no foul. But they certainly should have been taken out of the game a little bit quicker after this incident was happened on July 13th.
And again, we are learning these details as this unfolds. I guess I'd like to ask your initial reactions to this and your thoughts.
Well, I think it's allowing the investigation to move forward. Again, it would be great if we could get a little bit more information a little bit quicker so that the public can continue to digest, Congress can continue to digest, and the Secret Service can continue to digest to figure out, again, what happened here, how it happened, why it happened, and more importantly, how do we fix the problems that we had within the agency so that it certainly doesn't happen again as we move into the home stretch now after the 2 conventions and into the election season, which will be coming up in November.
I want to follow up on something you just said, when we will get new information. When do you think we will?
I hope there's no stonewalling going on. I hope the Secret Service has opened its books. I hope it is transparent, that it is cooperating with the investigation, that it is making it's available to the FBI and to Congress to be questioned about what happened here, how it happened, why things potentially happened. What are they doing to fix the communications issues that have?
You know, I think this is a lot of ho-hum, to tell you the truth, because I think that this agency needs a complete overhaul. And I think that one of the problems was that you have bureaucrats sticking their 2 cents into how these things go on. And clearly, Trump was not given enough protection, very clearly. That's a political maneuver, right? Look at, this is Mayorkas, and this is right after it occurred. Let's listen to Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security.
Secretary, on that independent review, who will lead that independent review? What is the timeline for how long it will take to understand the failings that happened on Saturday? And will those findings be made public, or at least a summary of those findings be made public?
We are indeed in the process of selecting who will lead the independent review. The findings indeed will be made public. It is very important that we achieve transparency so that the American people have confidence in the work of the review and in its findings and recommendations. And we need to move with swiftness and urgency because this is a security imperative.
That's right, Mr. Secretary. On that, does the president have confidence in the Secret Service director after Saturday's failures?
I have 100% confidence in the director of the United States Secret Service. I have 100%.
That right there gives me no confidence in our government. This buffoon, this is the day before she resigned. He says he has complete confidence. The president has, and if you saw her testify in front of Congress, unless the fix was in, she was a deer in headlights. She had no answers. She knew nothing, didn't visit the site, had no knowledge of the investigation. And this guy says he has complete. I'll play it back because it's almost unbelievable to hear him say that.
Confidence in the director of the United States Secret.
Let's play it back here.
Service director after Saturday's failures?
I have 100% confidence in the director of the United States Secret Service. I have 100% confidence in the United States Secret Service. And what you saw on stage on Saturday with respect to individuals putting their own lives at risk for the protection of another is exactly what the American public should see every single day. It is what I indeed do.
This guy needs to be removed. I'm an unbelievable. Yes, there were heroes that day. There were absolutely heroes. The people, the agents that jumped on Trump and tried to cover him from potentially more gunfire. But him saying he has 100% confidence in the director of the Secret Service who resigned the next day. That's how much confidence you have in. I can only think that her performance in front of Congress was choreographed. And what do I mean? She was told just to shut up, just keep quiet, because this could come back to some people in positions a lot higher than you. So just take the hit. Take a day on national television of having your integrity questioned, having your competence questioned, and just take the beat down. And we'll take care of you later on, because clearly Alejandro Mayorkas saying he has complete confidence in her. No, I don't think so. I want to play a little bit of this again. This is giving back to the investigation. The Bodycam video played. This was played by son of Chuck Grassley, or produced by him.
Trump. The video shows officers and what appears to be a member of the Secret Service next to the body of suspected shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks. The officers discussed the chaotic moments before Crooks opened fire. All this comes hours after Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle resigned after intense scrutiny of her agency security plan. And the Homeland Security Committee grilled the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner today. He says 2 Butler Emergency Service Unit officers were stationed inside the building with a direct line of sight where Crooks would eventually climb up. But sometime before the shooting, officers were told to move to go search for him.
They had left that post to go look for him. Is that what you're saying?
My understanding is yes.
I think that's revelatory.
And was that relayed to the Secret Service, the team that surrounds the president himself? I can't answer that.
Well, if it wasn't, that's another big mess up.
FBI Director Christopher Wray will be questioned tomorrow. Lawmakers hope to get more answers.
So again, the biggest probably snafu here, besides just setting up incorrectly, not having enough people to protect at this rally, I think they had 60 people for a crowd of 20,000. Maybe it was 80. I could be off. 80 people for a crowd that was 80,000. I don't know. Was that enough? Was that enough people? Was that enough people to protect a presidential candidate? So when we hear all these things, it does not give us confidence in our government whatsoever. It makes us think there's a lot of buffoonery here, And when we look at the site, we look at the confusion, we look at the lack of communication that resulted in this. Even FBI Director Christopher Wray he testified. He didn't have a hell of a lot of answers either, you know. And early on, we did a show about the sniper who was one of the shooters at this rally. He wanted all the bosses. He wrote a memo. He wanted all the bosses in Secret Service fired. And obviously, a rank and file guy doesn't make that decision. But something is rotten in Denmark, as they say, you know, that something, the rank and file isn't backing their bosses. And they're saying there's something really, really wrong here. And yet, Alejandro Mayorkas says he had a complete 100% confidence in Kimberly Cheadle. And that's the day before she resigned. Did they really want her to believe that? I don't believe a word they say. I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous. And then, you know, there's other, as I said, this investigation surely is not over. And I think they tried to shut the door on it before that they had all the answers. I just want to play a little bit of this.
The gunman who nearly killed former President Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania last month used encrypted messaging accounts on multiple platforms based in Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany, according to a House representative appointed to a congressional task force investigating the assassination attempt. Reporter Mike Waltz, a retired Green Beret appointed to the 13-member House bipartisan task force investigating the attempted assassination of Trump, told reporters about the accounts while at the Trump Hotel Chicago Wednesday. One reporter asked Waltz what he and other members of the task force had learned during the investigation and about the encrypted messages on the shooter's cell phone.
We still haven't learned a lot. We haven't learned that much about those overseas accounts. We do know that they were in, if I get this correctly, Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany. Why does a 19-year-old kid who is a healthcare aide need encrypted platforms, not even based in the United States, but based abroad, where most terrorist organizations know it is harder for our law enforcement to get into? That's a question I've had since day one.
The representative then turned his attention to the FBI and Secret Service, bashing them for not saying a thing until they complete their investigations months from now.
They need to be releasing information as they come across it, because this wasn't an isolated incident. The threats are continually Iran's threats.
But go back to the multiple failures that we saw on an individual basis as long as systemic. I think it proves that there's either incompetence or some type of a cultural problem within the SS.
Waltz then cited an alleged plot that was foiled regarding a Pakistani national who paid off hitmen to kill Trump and other U.S. officials. The New York Post reported that the FBI is scheduled to brief members of the task force, which Waltz said he hopes will provide insight into the ridiculously flawed security detail at the Trump campaign in Butler, July 13th, 2024. Both the FBI and Secret Service are conducting their own investigations into the assassination attempt, as is the Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General. On the evening of the rally, crooks opened fire on the main stage, grazing Trump's ear with a bullet. Crooks also killed rally attendee Corey Comparatori, 50, and wounded 57-year-old David Dutch and 54-year-old James Copenhaver. Chilling new video has been released showing Thomas Matthew Crooks casually walking through a crowd in Butler, Pennsylvania, nearly 2 hours before he opened fire on former President Donald Trump and attendees at a campaign rally. The short clip, released by the clothing company Ironclad USA, shows Crooks at 4:26 p.m. dressed in shorts and a Demolisher t-shirt, walking past a line of vendors selling Trump merchandise ahead of the July 13th rally. He was wearing the same t-shirt when he opened fire on Trump and is not carrying anything in the eerie video. The assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump on July 13th, 2024, exposed critical security lapses that could have prevented the tragedy. Newly released text messages, a video showing a man walking on the roof just before the shooting, and body camera footage revealed that law enforcement had identified Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be assassin, as a potential threat more than 90 minutes before he launched his attack. Despite this early detection, crucial information about Crooks's suspicious behavior was not communicated in time to Trump's Secret Service detail. This failure in early threat identification and communication allowed Crooks to position himself on the rooftop undetected. Beaver County.
Unbelievable, folks. I just wanted to give you guys this update on this and the fact that finally there are some people are being held accountable. Was it too little, too late? Is there anyone listening to me today that thinks that this investigation is over and Thomas Crooks acted alone? How about the Pakistani man who on July 12th was arrested for trying to hire a hit team to assassinate Trump? Is that not connected to Thomas Crooks? They just shut the door as if most people never even heard about that guy. Yeah, so I'm calling bullshit, and I want this investigation to be thorough, transparent, and the FBI is anything but transparent. They'll hide behind the fact it's currently under investigation as they get away with not reporting what actually happened. So, folks, that's my report for today. As I said, this breaking news, 5 agents have been held accountable, put on paid leave, and we'll see what happens from here on out. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff. Have a great day, and God bless everyone.
One episode just ain't enough.